Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you how to custom etch a logo, your initials, a design in any part of your guitar that has chrome on it. And I was actually watching another YouTube video where a guy was etching his tools, and I figured, hey, I got all the equipment in my house here, why don't I just go ahead and try it myself and actually make a video and showing how it's done. And it's pretty cool. Alright, so let's get started. I use a program called Silhouette. There are probably a few programs out there to do this, but you're going to need to connect your program to a vinyl cutting printer, and you're going to have to use some sort of an adhesive vinyl. In my case, I use vinyl called Oracal 651 vinyl. It's very, very good. We use it on storefronts or decals for the back of your car. With the software, you'll design the logo or the initials or the design, whatever you want to do. The program is really cool. It allows actually for transferring of some images and tracing and so on and so forth. So you can actually take a logo that you've seen on the internet or something that you designed, as long as it's a high definition image, and you can actually create a very cool stencil using this program. So anyway, so there's the vinyl. It adheres to this this piece of plastic, and that's how you load it into the machine. And the machine has a little blade on it, so it doesn't use ink. It actually has a blade, and the blade is cutting the vinyl, and when it's done, it shoots it out. And here's where you have to be very careful in separating what you need from what you don't need. Normally, when we make decals, what we're peeling away here is what we actually want to put on our car, on our computer, our cell phone, or whatever it is to put this cool decal. But in this case, we're actually throwing that part away and saving the opposite part, or the negative of it, and that's what actually becomes the stencil. So you could see it's a little bit of a time-consuming and tedious process. You actually have to carefully pick away or weed using a little pick the parts of the decal that you want to get rid of. And you're also going to have to put it on a what we call transfer paper, because you're never going to get it lined up perfectly and have it release unless you have something that it first sticks to. So the trick with this transfer paper is it's sticky, but it's not as sticky as the other side. So when you'll see what I mean. We're going to scrape it down so it sticks very well to the transfer paper. But no matter how hard we stick it down to the transfer paper, when we put it on our surface or our guitar, whatever we're going to put it on, when we peel it off, the sticker actually will release from the transfer paper first, but it won't want to release from the actual thing that we're putting it on. And here you got to clean it up very, very good, as I'm showing you. Probably should use alcohol, but we decided to just quickly grab it. You grab this shirt and wipe it down real fast. You don't want any oils or anything on there from your fingers or anything like that. So when you put this decal down, it's really a one-shot thing. So once you put it down, it doesn't want to come back up unless you're going to ruin it. So, and the longer you leave it there, the better it sets. In this case, we put it down, and we wanted to get going with this stencil and doing this this etching. So we really didn't leave it down more than maybe 20 minutes before we started to do the actual etching. But either way, when you could see, you could peel the transfer tape away. Sometimes you have a little piece you have to rub back down. But when you peel this transfer tape away, it releases first, and it actually allows for the decal to stay down. That's some serious adhesive on the back of that decal. Like if you let that sit for maybe a couple hours in the hot sun, or for a few days, you're going to need a razor blade to remove it. It doesn't come off so easily. Alright, so in order to make the chemicals required, or the chemical required to do the actual etching, it's actually pretty simple. Like I said, we have a lot of the stuff in the house. You use some vinegar, pour some vinegar in a little cup, and there wasn't much in the bottle, so we just poured the whole thing in. And then some ordinary salt. It looks like we have some sea salt there, and I just pour some salt in there. And we're just going to stir it up and make sure it blends nicely, and just make a solution. And the purpose of it, of course, it's acidic, and it's also electrolytic, so it allows for conductivity, and it allows for the current to transfer into the plating. And I'll show you in a minute exactly how this is done. Once we thoroughly mix it up and get it in solution. And what we decided to do here is actually connect our leads to the screw on the neck plate without actually removing the neck plate. You can remove the neck plate, but that would be an extra step, and we decided to try to simplify it, and it worked out fine. So you're going to need two wires with alligator clips on each side. You connect the positive end to the screw and the other positive end to a battery. In this case, we actually used the battery out of our boat, and you can actually see that we're working on this on our boat. So you'll connect the positive to the battery, the positive to, in the other end of the wire, you connect to the screw, and then you do the negative, and then the negative we're going to actually make a probe out of, and I'll show you exactly how that's done. And that's the reason why you're actually going to use the Q-tips. There's more of a reason than just mixing the solution with the Q-tips. So after you get the wires connected, make sure they don't touch on the other end, because they will arc. Remember, this is a 12-volt battery, so you can see a big spark. Take a look and see how I use the alligator clip and I connect the Q-tip to it, and just to use it as a probe. And you'll see, because you have one end of the electric connected to that plate, you'll be somewhat completing a circuit by using this little cotton tipped Q-tip with the other wire. And you'll know you have an actual connection when you start rubbing the chrome part of the exposed area where the decal is. You'll know you have a connection, because you'll start to see some bubbling and some smoke, like a little bit of smoke coming up. And the when you kind of glide it over, you rub it over the chrome, the exposed areas, you'll actually see that the color will begin to change, and that's how you know you've completed the circuit. And you shouldn't see any sparks. If you do have a spark, it's because your metal alligator clip happened to touch something. So you really just want to keep it with the solution being between the wire and the actual plate. Now you could do this technique on anything that has chrome plating, believe it or not. It doesn't work well on stainless steel, and it doesn't work well on aluminum, because of the fact that with chrome plating, underneath the chrome plating you have this other layer of plating. It's like a copper plate. So when you etch off the chrome plating, it leaves a really, really nice background behind it, so you have contrast. It just works very, very well with chrome. So as you can see, we're working on this. This actually took probably maybe about 10 or 15 minutes. We had to change the Q-tip a few times. You'll know when you need to change a Q-tip, because it starts to get black and it stops bubbling and fizzing as much as it did when it was a fresh Q-tip. Okay, you want to make sure that you thoroughly cover everything. Don't miss anything. You can go over it a few times. You'll know when you completed it, because you want to make sure the color is uniform all around. Once you get it completely etched, that's when you're going to peel off your decal, and it's going to leave the etching behind. Remember, it's a stencil. So here we are, completely peeling it off, and don't worry about some blemishes you might see in the in the etching. There might be some unevenness. If there is, it's okay, because at this point in time we're going to do a little polishing anyway, and the polishing is going to put the finishing touch on it. It's going to make it look beautiful at the finish. So peel some of this stuff off, clean it up really nice. What's really cool about this is you could put your initials on your guitar. You could put a cool design, anything you like. If you like, we like RUSH, and so we decided to give it a shot with the Starman logo. It's one of the more difficult ones because it has a lot of detail, a lot of intricacy. But something simple like an initial, or some people like to name their guitar. You could put your name on your guitar, Lucille, whatever you want to do, and you can really make a nice custom guitar for yourself by doing this. We're just going to tighten up the screws, make sure it's the way we started, and polish it up really nice. We did see some unevenness in the etching, so we decided to actually use a little bit of compound and just kind of buff it out, and this really did the trick. It really looked gorgeous. The color of the etching behind the chrome is almost like a penny. It's like the color of a new fresh penny, so it's nice and bright copper. Really cool. And to put the finishing touches on it after the polishing compound, what we decided to do is grab some super high grit sandpaper. It's 8,000 grit. It's mainly used to sand down your frets and smoothing out your frets after you work on them a little bit. And it feels like you're rubbing paper. You don't feel the abrasiveness at all. It's crazy, but it is sandpaper nonetheless, and it really puts a super high gloss on what you're working on. Oh, by the way, you'll see also in this video that we decided to label the tone and volume knob, so you'll see a T and a V there. Listen, everybody, we've been making decals for years. We've made thousands of decals over the years. We sell them on eBay. But if you're looking for something specific, a stencil that you want on your guitar, on your neck plate, or on your bridge, let us know. Send us a comment, send me an email, let me know, and I will do my best to help you out with that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed actually doing this project. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. Please comment. We love to hear what you have to say. And subscribers are always welcome. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.